Ole Miss handles business against the Memphis Tigers, winning 83-77. Ilias Kamardine is going to be a star. I really like Jiffa. Let's talk all about it and react accordingly. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss football staff member. We are going to talk about Ole Miss taking care of the Memphis Tigers in a big game. Ilias Kamardine's star turn. It was awesome, but thank you so much for making the Locked On Podcast Network the number one podcast network in America. That couldn't be done without you, and thank you for making us your first listen every day. And please give us a like, subscribe, and comment on your way out. And check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college and pro, is available to you. This was a big win for the Ole Miss Rebels. It was. You wanted to see, after Louisiana Monroe and after Sela, you wanted to see if this basketball team had what it took to go against high-level athletes and perform, because Ilias Kamardine, he's new. He's only been here a couple of months. You had questions about what he could do. Jiffa, who was at High Point a year ago, you had questions about what he could do. Corey Chess, James Perry, or James Scott, sorry about that. All of those guys, you wanted to see how they would perform against high-level athletes, and you got to see that tonight. You got to see Memphis playing extremely hard. You could see it on the field. They fouled a lot. I think 25 fouls over the course of the game, but that was because they were trying to affect the game turnover-wise and kind of change things over defensively. You saw in the second half of that game that it kind of turned a little bit when Ole Miss started turning the ball over. Now, one thing that we can take away from this ball game potentially is that Ilias Kamardine is an SEC Player of the Year level player when he's on. He was unbelievably on in this game. 26 points, ended up with 4 rebounds, ended up with a steal, a block, 4 assists, 26 points, 11 of 14 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3. The only thing that he did not do well in this game was shoot foul shots, as both of the French connection guards that Ole Miss has, Kamardine went 1 of 5 and Jiffa went 6 of 11. So between the two of them, they didn't shoot particularly well from the charity stripe, but that will be rectified, I'm quite certain, because they are very good shooters beyond the arc. It was just one of those nights. Another thing is, I'm happy for Travis Perry. We've been saying for the first 2 games, he just needed to see a ball go through the hoop. He needed to see it. He was 2 for 3 in this game from 3-point range. He didn't play a large amount of time because Jiffa was honestly that good. And he was pretty good with the moment that he had. AJ Storr ended up with 10 points. Jiffa 15. Malik D only had 13. He had a very quiet 13 points in this game, had 6 rebounds. James Scott had 7 rebounds in the game, had a block on the night as well. You look at the minutes that Augusto Cassia gave to the Ole Miss team, that was important. Corey Chess was pretty good on this evening as well. Patton Pinkins provided a spark to this team. All of this against high-level athletes coached by Penny Hardaway and Memphis. This was an NCAA tournament team last year, and I'm pretty impressed about what they were able to accomplish. At the end of the game, it got a little weird. I understand that, but it was early in the season. They're coming together. You saw a basketball team for 30 minutes of the game play a clean game and know their identity early on in the season. Ole Miss got out rebounded in this game. that's concerning, but it wasn't a dominant situation. Last year in Memphis, the Bigs dominated Ole Miss physically. If you remember last year, Memphis completely took apart this Ole Miss basketball team. And this was an Ole Miss team that ended up going to the Sweet 16. That didn't happen in this game. And a lot of that has to do with Ilias Kamardine being basically unflappable. I do like all the Pistol Pete, Johnny Newman type stuff he does. That is a cool thing. And the behind the back pass for a crossover pass that was Travis Perry's first 3-point shot, that was money. That was awesome. That was everything that you could ask for. And we'll see what's up there. Anyway, if you're commenting the thread, the third segment is all about you, but comment where you're commenting from before you ask your question or say your piece in the transfer portal market as well. Good win for the Ole Miss Rebels. I'm very excited about where they could end up and how they look early on in the season. But when we come back, we will do a little box score cleaning to figure out exactly what went on. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. All right, college football is back, and I could not be much more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, and prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, honestly. The app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite football games for as low as $25. Now, the Ole Miss Florida game this weekend is upwards towards $300, but I can help you out with that as well. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege. That's all one word for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but it keeps all of this free. Locked On is getting ready to change the game again, all in the name of having fun following your team. It's coming in December, and thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in America. We could not do that without you. So let's do some box score cleanup real quick. The Ole Miss Rebels defeated the Memphis Tigers 83-77. Ole Miss shot 51.9% from the field. A lot of that was from Ilias Kamardine, going 11 for 14, shooting 78% for the game. Ole Miss was 8 of 13 from 3 points. They didn't turn the ball over. They took care of it with 7 turnovers in the game. 3 of them were in about a minute and a half stretch, too. Ole Miss had 32 rebounds for the game, 15 fouls. Memphis, 77 points. They shot 46.7%. That's a problematic percentage, if we're going to be completely honest. They did shoot only 7 for 21 from 3. They also had 7 turnovers, which is very un-Chris Beard-like, essentially. 33 rebounds for the day and 25 fouls for Memphis. Again, Ole Miss had Ilias Kamardine go for 26, had A.J. Storr going for 10, Keza Jiffa go for 15, Malik Dia 13, Travis Perry 6, Corey Chest 5, Patton Pinkins 5. And James Scott went for 3 points as well, but a rotation is kind of getting known. If you look at James Scott, he played for 27 minutes, Malik Dia 29, Ilias Kamardine 35, A.J. Storr 20, Keza Jiffa 33. Patton Pinkins played for 17 minutes in the game, and Corey Chess came in for 13 minutes. If you look at the main thing, like field goal percentage and all of that, Ole Miss played pretty well, if we're going to be completely honest about it. And we'll see exactly how that goes. All right. When we come back, we're going to take your comments before we get out of here. Remember, if you comment, put where you're commenting from. Whenever we're done with that or get close to the end, we will cut off the live stream at that point because, to be honest, it's an extremely late night. Remember, Ole Miss played really well today, got a victory over Memphis. That's a win that's probably going to look pretty good at the end of the season. The Tad Pad game is coming up on Friday against Cal State Bakersfield. Should be a lot of fun, but this is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Stick around. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. You can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a bigger payout shot. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when that first $5 bet hits. So head to FanDuel.com and sign up to play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, real quick, let's take some comments before we get out of here on this live stream. Pretty good stuff. First comments from JC, our good friend. It got close at the end. It was a good finish for Coach Beard and the crew. It was a solid win for Ole Miss, honestly. It was a solid win. Hard to take anything away but that from this game. That was a big win for Coach Beard's crew. Jeff Jungers says, solid quad one win early. Memphis played us tough. The Rebels will be their optimal when they have 3 or 4 guys with double-digit scoring. Looking forward to the Tad on Friday. That's Jeff in Smyrna, Georgia. Sam Aldridge saying tons to clean up. Free throw shooting down the stretch by Kamardine and Jiffa has to be better for future success. 9 missed by those 2 alone. This team has the elements to be really good. Yeah, this is a good basketball team. And there's some stuff they need to clean up, but it's still early in the season. You don't want to peak right now. You want to win games right now, but you want to peak in March. And it's great that there's stuff that they have where they need to clean it up. So we'll see exactly how that goes. King on the Throne says, good game. It shouldn't have been this close. Yeah, Ole Miss got up by 11 with the ball. And if they could have extended it to 14, they were probably going to extend it to 20. But they couldn't do that, and Memphis was able to chip away at that. And I think Memphis got it down to 4 near the end of the game. So we'll see exactly how that goes. King on the Throne says this Memphis team is not good. That's not true. They're going to be just fine. Penny did a thing where they didn't even install all of their offense until after the exhibition game. So they're still playing into form a little bit. They're going to be problematic in the beginning of the year, but they played really hard today, honestly. Somebody says, Michael, Johnny, if we lose Lane Kiffin in the offseason, I think a guy like Deion Sanders would be a perfect fit. That's no, not even a little bit. All right. So I am going to sleep in tomorrow. So I might be a little bit late and miss the premiere tomorrow morning. This was a big win by Ole Miss basketball. It just was. It was a big win by Ole Miss basketball. They have Cal State Bakersfield on Friday for the last ever Tad Pad basketball game. They're going to demolish that building this summer. So that game against Cal State Bakersfield, that tribute to Rod Barnes, that's going to be something to pay attention to. I hope everybody has an interesting day. And what's going on, we have our interview with ABC 24 for the Florida game. We're going to talk with Brian Smith tomorrow. I don't know which day that's going to be on. Our crossover with Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators. I can't imagine there would be anything to talk about in that game. And of course, Bill Flowers will be on a little bit later on tomorrow. So stick around, have fun, enjoy the channel. We try to have a good time, and that's the way we look at it. So thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe me, Google Ole Miss Podcast and see how much we come up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it's absolutely free. Your support means the world. It's another big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff. It's your ultimate college football weekly preview show. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.